It's official, trouble has hit the Dallas Cowboys roster once again. And while fans had hoped this offseason would be all about focus, growth, and championship preparation, a disturbing headline has entered the mix. Cowboys kick returner KaVontae Turpin has been arrested. According to reports, the incident occurred in Allen, Texas, and involves charges of marijuana possession, under 2 ounces, and unlawful carrying of a weapon. Let that sink in. This isn't just a depth piece or a practice squad player. Turpin is a Pro Bowl return specialist and was expected to have a much larger role in the offense this season. His speed, explosiveness, and versatility made him one of the Cowboys' more intriguing weapons heading into training camp. Now the spotlight is on for all the wrong reasons. Look, no one's here to drag a man through the mud. This isn't about disrespect or making someone a punching bag. It's about accountability. And it's about what this means for the team. This is news. Big news. And like it or not, it affects the Cowboys' plans moving forward. So here we are, talking not about touchdowns or training camp battles, but about an off-the-field issue that could impact the chemistry and continuity of a team with Super Bowl ambitions. Let's dive deeper into what this arrest means for Turpin, and more importantly, for the Dallas Cowboys. As of now, KaVontae Turpin remains in custody following his arrest in Allen, Texas. The charges? Possession of marijuana under 2 ounces and unlawful carrying of a firearm. And yes, this is a developing situation, one with real consequences for both Turpin and the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about the location for a second. Allen isn't exactly known for high crime activity. It's one of the quieter, more upscale areas in North Texas. So the question arises, why was Turpin carrying a firearm there at 6 a.m.? That decision alone raises serious concerns, not just about legality, but about judgment. And while marijuana use has become more common and even accepted in many circles, especially among athletes coping with the physical toll of the game, the combination of a controlled substance and a weapon is what turns this into a more serious legal issue. Even more troubling is the fact that Turpin already has a prior record. That history could play a role in how this case is handled, both in the legal system and within the Cowboys organization. Which brings us to the bigger question. How will Dallas handle this internally? This isn't just a player incident. This is a test of the Cowboys' leadership, especially under offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer and the rest of the coaching staff. Will they issue discipline? Will this be quietly handled behind closed doors? Or could this be another case that's overlooked for the sake of keeping talent on the field? This moment could speak volumes about how the Cowboys intend to manage player accountability going forward, especially with a team that's laser-focused on contending this season. There's something unsettling about this story, not just because of the arrest itself, but because of the silence surrounding it. If this hadn't come to light, would anyone within the Cowboys organization have even addressed it publicly? Would this have quietly slipped past the media cycle unnoticed and unchallenged? That uncertainty says a lot about the way these situations are sometimes handled in the league. Let's be clear, KaVontae Turpin does have a prior history. Back in 2018, he was arrested and later pleaded guilty to a Class A misdemeanor for assault of a family member. That was before his time in the NFL, and well before he became a Cowboy. The team signed him years later, presumably believing in second chances and growth. But now, with this latest incident, we're forced to ask some hard questions. Will the Cowboys take action? Will Brian Schottenheimer, Mike McCarthy, or anyone in the front office step forward to publicly address what happened? Will there be discipline, accountability, or silence? This moment could become a turning point for the team's leadership culture. And then there's Turpin himself. This is a wake-up call. As a professional athlete, especially one who just signed a deal and is finally earning his place in the NFL, you simply cannot afford lapses in judgment like this. Whether it's getting a driver, limiting your circle, or surrounding yourself with people who protect your future, something has to change. Because no matter how electric you are on the field, Off-the-field decisions can derail a career in an instant. Turpin's story isn't over, but how he and the Cowboys respond to this moment will say everything. Situations like this are exactly why players need to start taking better care of themselves, not just physically, but legally and professionally. When you're an NFL athlete, you are always in the spotlight, and one mistake can cost you more than just a fine. It can threaten your career. Let's be honest, this isn't an easy story to cover. No one enjoys delivering bad news about a player who's become a key part of the Cowboys' special teams and was on the verge of carving out a bigger offensive role. But this is real. This is happening. And it matters. Turpin is currently facing 2 charges. Unlawful carrying of a weapon, classified as a Class A misdemeanor, which carries the potential for up to 1 year in jail depending on how the case unfolds. Possession of marijuana under 2 ounces, a Class B misdemeanor under Texas law. And as of now, he has not yet seen a judge, and no bond has been set. That means he's still in custody as the legal process plays out. The arrest was made by the Allen Police Department, and based on initial reporting, this was an on-view arrest, meaning law enforcement witnessed or discovered enough on the scene to make an immediate decision without a warrant. Now combine that with Turpin's past, the 2018 misdemeanor assault case, and the stakes become much higher. His legal team will likely have to fight hard to keep this from escalating into something far more damaging for his career. But this also opens the door for NFL discipline. The league has been known to step in even before the court system finishes its process. So whether or not charges stick, Turpin could face suspension or other consequences under the NFL's personal conduct policy. Right now, we wait for answers, for statements, and for the Cowboys' next move. The NFL has a long history of disciplining players, and for Cowboys fans, it often feels like Dallas is held to a different standard. Just ask anyone who remembers the Ezekiel Elliott suspension, which many still believe was excessive. That's why there's concern right now about how the league may respond to KaVontae Turpin's arrest. The best-case scenario: Turpin learns from this moment, moves smarter going forward, and the situation is resolved quietly, without major legal or league consequences. For a young player with a rising role and immense talent, the hope is that this becomes a turning point, not a defining moment. The worst-case scenario: if the legal system decides to pursue the case aggressively, or if the NFL sees this as a violation of its personal conduct policy, Turpin could be looking at a suspension, or in the rarest and most extreme outcome, potential jail time. While that outcome seems unlikely for a high-profile player with strong support behind him, it cannot be ruled out entirely. Turpin is now the latest in a long line of Cowboys players dealing with off-the-field issues, and it comes at a time when the team is trying to re-establish a winning culture, much like the dynasty years of the 1990s. But history has taught us something. Talent isn't enough. Discipline, focus, and maturity are just as critical if this team wants to finally break through. For now, we wait. Will this be a minor off-season blip, quickly forgotten once training camp opens? Or will it become a larger distraction with lasting consequences? Only time will tell.